שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, Hashivenu Adonai Lecha V'nashuva Hashivenu Adonai Lecha V'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Kekadam Chadesh Yameinu Kekadam Hashivenu Adonai Lecha V'nashuva Hashivenu Adonai Lecha V'nashuva
The disciples of the Baal Shem Tov heard that a certain man was a sage. Some of them were anxious to see and hear his Torah. The master gave them permission to go, but first they asked him, "How will we know if he is a true teacher?" The Baal Shem replied, "Ask him for advice on how to pray and learn without distraction. If he gives you an answer, you will know there's nothing to him." Tonight begins the 20th day of Elul. Shabbat provides a special opportunity to reflect on the holiness and the personal strength we have within. As Jews, we acknowledge that perfection is impossible, and the quest for greater self-understanding and greater purpose in this world is never complete. This time for Teshuvah is our opportunity to change and grow and reshape our lives. If we think we've figured it out, we've missed the point entirely. So this Shabbat, take some time to consider who you are and what you're doing. Ask yourself how you might attempt to create a new self, more loving, more connected to others in the new year. Knowing that there will always be distractions, how will you engage in a more whole and holy life? Lots of time to think and contemplate. We still have a few weeks before Rosh Hashanah and our days of awe, but we welcome Shabbat and this time for rest and reflection with light. And so we turn to page 11 in our special Elul Sudarim prayer books, and it's my pleasure to call on our bar mitzvah, Cole Daniel Rosenberg, along with his mother Susan and his grandmothers Betsy and Fran, to welcome Shabbat through kindling light together.
I honor the gift of stillness and rest, a day devoted to peace, peace within my soul. On this day, I have everything I need, peace with those around me. On this day, I seek to no quarrel or strife.
Peace of earth and sky, green trees and quiet water. I give thanks that I am present in this world. I celebrate the miracle of existence, the breath within me, the beating of my heart, the love that blesses my life.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat.
Turn your page. Yeah. We're on page 12. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai v'chadesh ha'shabbat.
Turn with us to page 14 on the bottom as we sing songs of praise to God to welcome Shabbat from Psalm 96, Ya'aloz Sadai.
Ya'aloz Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai ay 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 Ya'aloz Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai ay 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 Azranenu kol Azranenu kol And we will continue on page 18, with Tov Lehodot. It starts on the second line. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Le'agir b'boker chastecha,
On page 22, we make ready to welcome the Sabbath bride, singing Lecha Dodi. When we reach our last verse, Bo'vi v'Shalom, we rise as a congregation, facing the entrance of our sanctuary to welcome that Sabbath spirit into our space. And if you're with us on live stream, don't forget your space, wherever you are, is a mikdash ma'at, a small sanctuary, one that you make sacred by celebrating Shabbat with us as well. So join us in singing.
Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Shamoy v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi'anu el meyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet ve'litila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Likrat Shabbat, chuven elcha, ki mikor ha-beracha. Merosh mikedem, nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Hitareri, hitareri, ki ba'orech komi ori. Uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai eloich nigla. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabila. Bo'vi v'Shalom, ater bala, kam b'simcha u'v'tzola. Toch emuneh am segula, bo'vi chala, bo'vi chala. Chatoti likrat kala, pnei Shabbat נקבלה, לחד אותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to those around you and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Welcome them if they're in from out of town. If you haven't seen them in a while, let them know how glad you are they're here. We turn now to page 24 for Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רב, אמן. בעמד יברח חרטי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלות, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם מהמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתו ושירתו, תושבחתו ונחמתו, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו amen.
As we turn to page 26 for the Baruch Hu, it's my pleasure to call upon our bar mitzvah, Cole Rosenberg, to lead us in the next portion of our service.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. We continue on page 28. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, sader et hakochavim, b'mishmeratehem barakirat kirtzuno, borei yom v'layla, galel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shema. El chahai v'kayan, tamid imloch aleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue on page 30. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Israel. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue on page 32. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We continue together on page 34. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinam tav levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivdecha b'veitecha uvletecha b'derech uv'shuchbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchaftam amezot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkaru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotziti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liyot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Emet.
On the top of page 41, we read together. Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love, and all others upon this earth, that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage. Heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea that only you can part, so we may all walk through the wilderness to your realm of peace when all men and women are one and sing your blessed name. Don't turn the page. Micha Mocha, page 40.
Micha Mocha, Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar V'Kodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Faleh, Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Faleh, Malchutecha, Ravanecha, Bokeh Hayam, Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelianu ve'amru, Adonai, Imloch, Leolam, Vaed, Adonai, Imloch, Leolam, Vaed, Yaelai, 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 ונאמר כפר אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
us our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us to life when we rise. This section of our service is filled with prayers for peace, not just in the world, but for ourselves, for our own internal lives. So take a few moments to take advantage of the gray pages that follow to find a reading that inspires you, these pages special specifically for the month of Elul. On page 44, we lie down in darkness. This day with its burdens passes away. Raise us up to the light of a new day. Change us with the season. Give us rest and renewal. Make us eager for the dawn. We sing Vishamru on page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל
rise for the Amidah on page 48.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la. My mouth may declare your praise. Ya la la la, 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 ya la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imateinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומותיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. On page 60, we read together, God who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, may our rest on this Shabbat bring you pleasure. Lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart. Let your holy Shabbat be our heritage, embraced freely and with love, and may all our people bring holiness to your name by resting on this day. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. On page 63. Bring joy to my life of service when I turn to you for purpose and hope. God, teach me your path. Your truth will guide my steps. Point my heart toward awe, your name the center of my devotion. Page 66, we join together. God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful forever. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise. your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness, morning, noon, and night. We call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time. Page 69. For all these gifts, for the gifts I received today, air in my lungs, pulse in my veins, my restless mind alive and curious, awakening suddenly to beauty, for love and the memory of love, forgiveness when I didn't deserve it, another chance at life. Let my soul give thanks to you. Let me not forget your kindness. Page 70.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atar melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atar melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
As these words of Shalom Rav gave us the opportunity to pray for peace for all those in the world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of them and whisper their names aloud. Mishaberach can be found on page 77.
We're actually singing
Just kidding.
a different prayer for healing tonight called Prayer for Healing. And the English, if you had, the order of service, if you have it on your phone or device or whatever, the words are in there. The English is an echo, so you repeat what I say. And the Hebrew is El Na Rafana La Rifana Lanu, which means, please God, heal her, heal us. And those are the words that Moses said when Miriam was sick. It was our first spontaneous prayer. So we're going to be spontaneous tonight. Dear God of our ancestors, dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing, grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days, bring peace to all our days. El Na Rafana La Rafana take a moment for your own silent meditations. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Shalom dimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Shalom dimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru
As humans, it is not easy to be happy at all times. We focus on the negatives going on around us and let that bring us down. We dwell on the difficult things, and while we may be temporarily buoyed by something positive, it seems to only be temporary. This week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, recognizes this tendency and seeks us to remind us to be happy twice. One is really obvious, as it says in Deuteronomy 28:47-48, because you would not serve the Lord your God in joy and gladness over the abundance of everything, you shall have to serve in hunger and thirst, naked and lacking everything, the enemies whom the Lord will let loose against you. And I'm going to stop there. It just gets worse, but you get the idea. This is the section of the curses, where the Israelites are being warned that if they don't heed God's commandments, many bad things are going to befall them. However, there's a special stipulation. You don't just follow the commandments like a teen being asked to do a chore begrudgingly and with eye rolls, but with joy and gladness in what you have surrounding you. Now, I don't believe that we are going to be cursed by God because we don't follow the commandments. happily or otherwise. And I feel that this passage is to remind us of what happened earlier in this portion, the other time that we are reminded to be happy. In Deuteronomy 26, 5 through 10, it says that we are to say, "My father was a fugitive Aramean. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers and sojourned there. But there he became a great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dealt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried to the Eternal, the God of our ancestors, and the Eternal heard our plea, saw our plight, our misery, and our oppression. The Eternal freed us from Egypt by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm and awesome power, and by signs and portents, bringing us to this place and giving us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Wherefore I now bring the first fruits of the soil, which you, Eternal One, have given me." This is supposed to be said at a time of happiness, when we are rejoicing at having just come to the land of Israel, and we are celebrating by bringing God the first fruits of the land. At first, it doesn't sound very happy. It's a highlight reel of some pretty dark times in our history. Wandering without a home, feeling like a small nation without recognition, being enslaved and oppressed, doing back-breaking work for horrible hours, crying to God because we are miserable. But then it turns around. We are freed by God. We are shown God's greatness. We are able to flee Egypt. We are brought to this land of Israel, where it is fertile and will provide so much for us. It is a very quick summary of many, many years. Then it ends with the giving of the first fruits. What is that about? The Israelites come to this place, and the first thing that they are able to harvest have to be given to God, not consumed by their people who have been wandering for 40 years, waiting just to get to this place. The Israelites could have been sad about it, but instead they chose that time to rejoice with God, to celebrate what God has given them, to extol in their successful harvest. So why do they even need a reminder of all the bad things that happened before? Do we really think that they forgot it? No, we know that they haven't. However, sometimes we get so consumed by what is going on around us that at that very moment, we can't look back and we can't look forward. By asking the Israelites to remember where they came from, it allows them to be grateful for what they have even more. By asking the Israelites to give of their first fruits, it reminds them of what they can accomplish in the future. We can be excited in the moment and, at the same time, cannot forget the past or forget to look toward the future. This structure is not uncommon in other Jewish rituals. A great example is the Passover Seder, where we actually read these exact verses of Deuteronomy, which remind us of our history, our present, and asks us to rejoice in what is to come, while also being proud of who we are as a people and how far we've come together. However, I think the greatest example in Judaism of this juxtaposition of remembering our past and looking to our future, all while remaining grateful and joyful, is at a wedding. At a Jewish wedding, at the end, we ask the wedding couple, sometimes the groom, sometimes the grooms, sometimes bride and groom, sometimes the brides, to step on a glass. There are many different explanations for why we do this tradition. The first instance we see this is in Talmud. Mar bar Rabina made a marriage feast for his son. He observed that the rabbis present were at the height of their merriment. So he seized an expensive goblet worth 400 zuzim, assume a lot of money, and broke it before them. Thus, he made them sober. As the text goes on, it explains that we cannot act as if everything in the world is wonderful. We have to realize that there is still suffering, still people who are not doing good deeds for the sake of doing good deeds, which Cole will talk about. Over the years, the tradition has taken on new meanings, as the glass was to remind us of the destruction of the temple or other tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people. Others feel that it reminds us of the delicate nature of marriage. It is not all about the joy felt on the wedding day. We must treat a marriage carefully and nurture it so it won't break. Regardless of what the meaning is, the symbolism stays the same. Everything shatters in an instant, and that sound or visual brings us back to reality. It sounds like a downer, but as soon as that glass breaks, the couple gets to kiss and everyone shouts, Mazal Tov! The breaking of the glass is that quick reminder so we don't lose sight of what is important. So here in Ki Tavo, our Torah portion, the first fruits do the same thing. They allow us to remember our dark times, be grateful for our present, and look forward to our future. Our joy is not tempered, but set in reality, where we don't think about just ourselves, but about God and the rest of humanity as well. As we approach the High Holy Days, may we be ever mindful of the joy we must bring to the happy moments along with the reality, the tough moments, and the pain of life, all to ensure that we can express gratitude for where we are and where we are to go. May we take this with us each and every day. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will and ours as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the concluding portion of our service. Aleinu is on page 78. Please rise. And just to note this, in our prayer book, this is the more traditional Aleinu, not the one we typically sing at Temple Beth-El on a regular Friday night, but we do for the month of Elul.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשני כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומוחים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we make ready to share in the words of the mourner's Kaddish, we note with sadness the death of Danielle Christine Howard, sister of Desiree Purvis. And I'd like to share with you a meditation not found in this prayer book from the New Union Prayer Book. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. On this Shabbat, we consecrate the yortzites observed of Jerome Adelman, Bobby Alter, Amos E. Ashworth, Mary Barkin, Reuben Barnett, Minnie Berlin, Nina Batan, Alvin Bright, William Bright, Bill Bullock, James Bird, Jerome M. Donzis, Gladys Glosserman, Harvey Guller, Alexander Gerwitz, Larry Helligman, Rabbi Lawrence I. Jake Jakowski, Irving Kaplan, Marlene Gloria Carden, Bernard Levy Kaufman, Meyer Kornrich, Alfred L. Laser, Charlene Goltzman Laser, Louis I. Lauderstein, Eddie Lavis, Frank Levine, Laura Levin, Helen Levitan, Eliza Levy, Jean-Paul Lohm, Anne Lichtenstein, Jane M. Fleming Lynch, Charles C. Madden, Harry Mazel, Carol Meyer Jr., Jane Meyerson, Jeanette F. Mintz, Hyman Phillips, I.L. Pitluck, Martha Michelson Pitluck, Joel H. Pullen, Nell Rice, Abe Rips, Louis Rodas, Zelda C. Schnee, John A. Schur, Charlotte Schifrin Dahl, Abraham Sobel, Miriam Helen Sobel, Bertie Solemson, Michael Stern, Rosalie Tectio, Todd Tectio, Elizabeth Sissy Urataya, Gerald Weaver, Marvin Yaren, and Irving Jurgen. To their names we link the names of those who in the last 30 days, Shloshim, have been laid to their eternal rest. Lawrence Rosenberg, Ann Callahan Dick, Robert Bob Burns, Sharon Forspan, and Myrna Klein. And to their names we link the name of one whose family is in the period of Shiva, who passed in the last 7 days, Jerry Sivan, husband of Mary, father of Eileen and Larry Goldman, Erwin and Pat Sivan, Dana and Jonathan Cohen, grandfather of Robin and Paul Schuler, Amy and David Rahmani, Margot Sivan, Trevor Sivan, Jack Cohen and Alexandra Cohen, and great-grandfather of 4 children. Zichronam livracha, may their memory be a blessing along with the memories of those who we hold in our own hearts each and every day. We rise together as a congregation, turning to page 86 to share in these words together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyamechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yamru amen. May the source of peace bestow peace upon all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved, to which we say, amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to call up Robin Kressbach to represent our Board of Trustees to share words of greeting on this Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Congratulations to Cole Rosenberg, his parents, Susan and Michael Rosenberg, grandparents, Betsy and Lee Rosenberg, and Francis and Robert Gill, as our community celebrates him becoming a bar mitzvah. Please join us tomorrow, either in person or on live stream, to be with Cole during his special service, Mazel Tov. Enjoy. As the high holidays approach, there will be many opportunities for you to engage in our temple. Tomorrow evening, we will celebrate Slichot. Join us for a special program at 6:30 p.m., where you will view Disney and Pixar's film Soul and discuss how the movie's concepts connect Jewish concepts. At 9 p.m., Havdalah and Slichot service will be held in the Wolf Sanctuary. We are continuing our daily writings during the month of Elul to help guide you through our process of reflection before high holidays. Information about these and many other opportunities can be found on our website, in the weekly email, and on the Shabbat order of service. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Page 90.
Thank you, Rabbi.
We read number 3, the Kavanah number 3, as we prepare to hear the sounding of the shofar. Summon the energy to sound the horn, muster the strength to change, move from judgment to compassion, shift your perspective and heal. Be the first to apologize, offer the hand of forgiveness, open your heart to hear the horn, believe in your power to change.
I'm going to ask you to rise as we share in the blessing for hearing shofar. On page 91, join with me. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea teruah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears the sounding of the shofar. Tekiah. Shivarim teruah. Tekiah. Yeshua. Our closing song is We Return, also in your order of service if you have the QR code. Otherwise, again, call and response, sing with me.
We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again. We return, we return, we return, return again and again to you. To you. I did it backwards. To you. To you. We return again to you. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la la yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la la yalalai la 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 yalalai la 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 yalalai la la la. We return, we return, we return, we return, return again. We return, we return, we return, return again and again to love, to love.
Shabbat Shalom.